Hi, everybody. Claudia Glassman here with Mighty Oak Parenting. I was talking to a colleague of mine who I worked with years ago when I first started my private practice in therapy. And we were talking about parenting. And one of the other women with us asked if we felt like some of the challenges today were a result of parents over parenting their children, or I guess like helicopter parenting them. And I thought about it for a minute, and my response was, well, I think we overparent sometimes in times when we shouldn't, and then we underparent when we should. And so it kind of inspired me to write my blog post about it and also to share this video with you guys because we tend to get involved as parents when our children are having a hard time with something, right? We call the teacher to ask about a grade. We call the parents of our children's friends to help sort out some kind of conflict, or maybe we even talk to the child's friends. And um, we get involved in all these ways to try to fix the problem. And I get it. I'm a mom, and I know when my daughter came home not that long ago and said that her friend was mean to her, I got angry inside and was like, what? What do you mean? Right? Here's two facts. I don't know the whole story, so I don't know what the disagreement was about. And these are all lessons. My daughter's learning to be a friend. She's learning how to interact with other children, right? She's learning how to solve conflicts and problems and differences of opinion. And so there's always something that comes up. And so I took a deep breath and contained my need to, want to fix the problem. And we talked about it, and I validated her feelings, and we talked about how she can handle the situation. And it resolved itself. Most of the things it drifted away after some time. But so I understand that urge to want to fix, and I understand that feeling inside when our children are hurt or upset or struggling, and that we just want to make it go away. But we're also doing them such a disservice when we do that. And sometimes we're sending the message indirectly that they're not capable of managing their own stuff. Now, the caveat to this is there's obviously situations where we as parents need to get involved. If safety is an issue, abuse, any of these things, when a situation is so overwhelming to a child that they can't manage themselves, I'm not saying that we should be hands off, but I'm saying in the little things that happen day to day, not ignoring our children when they come to us for help, but helping them differently, helping them help themselves, I guess, for lack of a better way to say it. So in some of these ways, I think we overparent, right? We're quick to ask a teacher, talk to a friend, all those things I listed earlier. And then when our children are having problems and they're feeling overwhelmed, and they're showing that by tantruming, angry outbursts, attitude, right, misbehavior, or behavior that we just deem as not great behavior, then all of a sudden we're isolating them, putting them in timeout, withdrawing our attention, whatever the case may be. Those are the moments where I feel that we underparent. Those are the moments when we could step back, take a breath, and support our children and kind of guide them through it. So I, feel that this is important because these children who, if we're rescuing them and hindering their growth, right, we grow through challenging times. So challenges are going to happen. Challenging times and problems and conflicts are all part of growing up, are all part of our lives. And we need to learn to manage them. And while our children don't have the skills to do it yet, which is why I think we as parents feel like we have to help, right? They don't know how to handle this yet. But our job is really to walk them through how to manage it, to help them advocate for themselves, to send them the message that they are capable of managing their problems and that we are here to support them, and we are here to help them, and we're here to guide them. But there are certain things that they need to do for themselves. And this, I think, starts to create very independent, resourceful adults that can manage challenges, that can handle failure, right? That can handle just feeling not so great about something because they'll know it passes, or they know they can manage it, because we can't always rescue them. And there are situations we can't rescue them from. And so it's really important to start to, help our children just a little bit differently so that they can help themselves. So whether it is your child feeling overwhelmed and kind of displaying less than desirable behaviors, maybe there's a tantrum, maybe it's just anger and agitation, right? Or whether it's your child coming to you saying, this happened today and I don't know what to do, or I'm really upset about it. These are some things you can do. First step is to listen. And I mean, really listen. Not arguing, not correcting, not saying, well, you shouldn't feel that way. Just listen, right? Ask them questions that let you know you're interested, that you want more information. questions that clarify things for you and maybe also for your child. Our children get stuck in the way they see things. And sometimes we can ask a certain question that can kind of open up the door. So in the example of a conflict with a friend, maybe that's, well, I wonder what your friend was feeling. Why do you think she got angry with you or he got angry with you? Right? A question that they didn't think of, just to kind of get a whole picture. But listen, reiterate back what you're hearing them say to make sure you're understanding correctly, right? It's really easy for us to hear things through our filter, but not necessarily hear it accurately. And so just reflect back to make sure you're hearing it right. Now, this just lets our children know that we're there with them, that we're listening. We want to validate their feelings, whatever they're feeling, frustrated, upset, angry, even if we think, well, it's not really something to be that upset about, right? For your child, it is. And so it doesn't matter whether we agree with the feeling, but that it's there. And so we really want to validate that feeling. I know it's frustrating. I know it's scary. I know it's sad. I know it hurts your feelings, whatever the case may be. If you have an experience from your life that's helpful, now, only if it'll be helpful to your child to hear about would I recommend this, but share it, Yeah, I remember getting in a fight with my best friend when I was, X amount of years, 8 years old, whatever the age, and I said some mean things and then I went to apologize to her and it worked out, kind of whatever the story is. But if it's something that you think will be helpful for your child to hear, to let them know that they're not alone, that you've been there too, that there is, another side of this, right? That there's this conflict will end or the situation will end, that you'll be okay. To really just share with them that they're not alone and that there's other people that experience this. Assist your child with problem solving, depending on the age of your child, this will look a little bit differently, but ask questions. Well, what do you think could make it better? What do you think went wrong? How do you think you can handle this? I know for my daughter, she had some issues with the coloring materials at school. And so she was told if she chooses not to clean it up, that she won't be able to color anymore. So she wasn't able to do art for a couple of days. And this was devastating to her. She was so upset. And so we talked about it. And I'd heard from the teacher who did let me know what was going on. And I said, well, I wonder if you just talk to your teacher and apologize and say, I realize I need to clean up after myself and I'm sorry, I just, walked away. I wonder what would happen. It took days for this to happen. But eventually it was addressed. My daughter and her teacher talked about it and it was resolved, and she is now doing art. Resolved once she had the conversation with her teacher. I was in correspondence with her teacher saying, here's what she expressed to me. And then the teacher shared what happened in the classroom, etc. But I didn't fix it. I didn't tell the teacher, well, let her draw and give her another try. I didn't. I said, sometimes we need to apologize for our actions. I wonder what would happen if you said, I'm sorry, and so just to kind of problem solve how to manage it. And finally, you really want to identify and explore fears. And in my daughter's case, she doesn't like disappointing someone and she didn't like being in trouble. And she was both at that moment. And, to face that was really hard for her, to face a teacher who could potentially say, well, you're not going to do art for the rest of the year, which isn't in her teacher's nature, but she felt that was a possibility. And to go and try to resolve it yourself at a young age was very overwhelming to her. And so we talked a lot about, her fears about it, her anxiety about it, what could go wrong, what the payoff may be, right? To just really walk through it and really understand her fears. Because facing a situation can be scarier, and isn't it great if someone else could just fix it for us, right? But we can't. So I really feel like through this process, whether it's your child's having a tantrum and you're listening and you're validating and you're helping them problem solve if there's something that's, problem solvable, but really just being present, and slowly guiding your child through how to handle these situations. Will enable them to learn that skill so that they can do it themselves and gain the confidence to know that when something is challenging and something comes up, that I have this. And so there really is a balance that we can take between, responding and not responding, or underparenting and overparenting. And there is, a happy middle ground that we can find. And it really is, to simplify it, maybe oversimplify it, is to be present in the moment with our child and just listen and hear what they have to say and help them find the answers to their own problems without solving it for them. So I hope that is some helpful food for thought for today. And I look forward to talking to you guys in the near future again. Have a wonderful day. Bye.